that were connected to my wife. So again, very important that you really also let other people know that you frequently are in contact with digitally that you got breached. If you fell victim to identity theft, definitely file a report with your local police. The FTC has a website. Contact your bank and credit card companies so they can put a fraud alert on your accounts. And then obviously make sure that there's really lots of good government websites now that kind of have step-by-step guidance on how to deal with identity theft. Strongly recommend in these days of age that you sign up for an identity theft protection service, like LifeLock is one. Would definitely strongly encourage you to use one of those services, right? Because they help you to stay ahead of, identity theft before it happens. Next slide. Yeah, here are a couple of links that we wanted to share with you, about information and resources that you can use, especially around, identity theft and how to secure yourself. You can also check your email address if it was part of a data breach, right? So that you kind of know what's all out there about you. These are definitely good sources of information that can help you protect yourself, right? And also help you to deal with identity theft. And with that being said, we will open it up now for Q&A, and we definitely thank you for your attention and hope that we were able to share some good information with you about where these threats are coming from and what they're looking like and how you can protect yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon and Veena. And we will now move to our question and answers, and there are quite a few. There's one that was posted on our Facebook portal, and I believe you've answered this, but the question was, what do I do if I think my identity has been stolen?
Yeah, you definitely, great question. So some of the links that we showed in the presentation have really like the step-by-step guides that walk you through it methodically. My immediate recommendation would be, you need to contact your bank, you need to contact the credit rating agencies, you need to make sure that that nothing gets opened up in your name, right? And the best and fastest way is to notify those institutions because they're freezing basically everything. There's no way to basically open any kind of credit cards in your name or purchase a car or other things, right, in your name. So that's like step one, and then immediately change all your passwords for every service. Contact, your local police, so you can actually report that identity theft. And then there's many other steps after that. But the first like 3 steps really are call your bank, call your credit, freeze your credit, make sure that they know about this, change all your passwords, disconnect all your computer equipment from the internet, get it scanned for malware and any other thing. Like damaging software, make sure that all is clean, and then engage, the law enforcement.
Thank you. Pretty exhausting process, for sure. You had mentioned about AI, that AI proves to be, can be a difficult factor as it relates to maintaining the security of our spaces. And there's a question about what role does AI play in modern cybersecurity defense strategies?
Wow, that's a great question. I love that question, right? Like, so AI is actually, I would say there's almost like an AI arms race going on, right? Like the bad guys are using AI to their advantage, and the good guys, right, like are using the AI to protect the organizations. So AI has a massive role in modern cybersecurity. Think about it that this way: we collect hundreds of thousands, data metrics across all of our infrastructure about what's going on. There's no way that a human being could actually read all this and then decipher to see if something malicious is going on. AI can process the same amount of data in like minutes and basically give you suggestions about, oh, this could be malicious, or this could be, or this is not malicious, right? So AI is a cornerstone of any good cybersecurity program out there these days, and you cannot really have a mature cybersecurity program without artificial intelligence.
Thank you. Now, Dana Wiltz-Beckham will also be fielding some questions to you all.
Yeah, this is some great information that you're covering. We've had this repeat question. Gordon, this is for you. Could you repeat the names of the password platforms that you said earlier in your presentation that we could use to store our platform passwords?
Yeah, absolutely. So popular vendors are LastPass and Dashlane. There's also a vendor called 1Password that is very popular. So these stories they're kind of like the market leaders out there, and they all kind of do the same thing. There's not a whole lot of difference in terms of feature and functions, and they also cost kind of like the same thing. But they make it really easy to manage your passwords. They also allow you to auto-inject a password. Like, so when I go to Amazon, I don't type in a user ID password, right? Like my password management solution auto puts it there, and I just hit sign in, right? So it makes it very convenient.
Thank you. We're getting lots of questions, so let's see if we can answer as many before our time runs out. So what are some of the warning signs that our devices or our accounts will demonstrate or show once they've been hacked?
Great question. Veena, do you want to answer it?
Oh, Gordon. So you know the normal behavior of your device. When your device acts up, when you're not able to access the normal applications that you have, and you feel like somebody is hovering around your phone trying to access your information, and probably check your text, check your phone calls. If the settings are not normal, or if you're not even able to access your phone, it's flickering, it's doing weird stuff, then probably your phone has been hacked. And at the same time, if you get like unknown text and probably that you don't expect, then probably it's somebody has control of your phone by now.
Yeah, the other thing that you can think about is like if you're, let's say your friends or your family all of a sudden get emails from you, right, that you never wrote. That's a good example of, somebody got access to your email, information, for example. Or you supposedly send them a text message, right, about, hey, I found this super awesome deal on Amazon. You should check it out, right? Like, these are kind of indicators that somebody is acting, on your behalf, and your identity or your information has been breached.
Thank you. There's another question of when you get a notification of a data breach from a company, such as a credit card company, what's the best way to correct or protect yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question, right? Like, so if your credit card company tells you that you got breached, and they already have frozen all of your assets, most likely that you have with the credit card, company or your banks, etc. I think that the process is very similar to what I outlined before, which is, you need to make sure that if it's not from your bank, if let's say you have multiple banks or etc., you have credit cards from one bank and cash account with another bank, you want to make sure that all your financial institutions know that, hey, most likely there was a breach situation going on. You want to make sure that your credit ratings is frozen. Nobody can open up new credit under your name, and you want to make sure that you kind of get your devices checked out, reset all your passwords. So the process is kind of very similar because they all lead to the same, which is kind of identity theft.
We have, as Dana had mentioned, we do have quite a few questions, and we probably have about 5 more minutes, but there is a question about what level of security do third-party cloud storage services such as Google Drive and Microsoft SharePoint offer, and what measures should be implemented to safeguard sensitive data stored within them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So all of these vendors, Google, Apple, Microsoft, all of them encrypt the data in flight and at rest. And what that means is that while the data that you're sending them or receiving from them is traveling over the internet, right? Like nobody can really read it because it's encrypted with an algorithm that kind of scrambles everything. And then everything is encrypted at rest, which means, if somebody would gain access to that information where it's stored, again, it's scrambled with a algorithm. The key to all this is identity security, right? You want to make sure that, the user ID and the password, is secure, that you have a long password, it's a strong password. You want to enable multi-factor authentication, right? So that not only have to have a password, but also like you need something that you have, like your phone, right, to authenticate. But generally speaking, all of these cloud storage vendors, they all provide now various, like especially the large ones, they all provide similar, security features. Doesn't matter if it's like Google Drive or Box or Dropbox, right? They all are, I would say, similarly secure. I think the one thing that may be different, like for example, with Box and Dropbox, the encryption that is used for at rest, you can actually use your personal key rather than a corporate, like a key that they provide, which means only you can decrypt the data with that key, which provides additional, I would say, security on top of it. Now, if you lose the key, you will have lost access to your information. So you want to make sure that that key is safe.
Let's see if we can get in a couple of more questions before time runs out. There's a question about cookies. So we always, when we go to different websites, they say accept cookies or decline. It says, can you give insight into cookies, meaning accepting or not accepting cookies when clicking on a website? Does accepting increases cyber risk?
So that's a great question, right? So on a legitimate website, right, like Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, a legitimate website. I personally, I'm kind of like paranoid. I reject all cookies, and I have a cookie blocker on my browser, right, to make sure that nobody can track me. Because what these cookies are really doing is they're tracking what you're doing on the website and beyond the website, right? They're not necessarily, this is not a cybersecurity concern as much as it is a privacy concern, right? So cookies is all about privacy, right? They're trying to learn about you as a person, right? Like what do you like to buy, right? Like, and what do you not like to buy? And where do you spend more time hovering over this when you make a buying decisions, for example? It's all about collecting all of that data to then serve you up very specific websites, right? And advertisements that are tailored to you so that to get you to buy more, right? So cookies are not as much as on a legitimate website, not as much as a cybersecurity concern as it more like is about your privacy. By rejecting the cookies, you're increasing, your personal privacy, right? Now, if you go as far as I go with a cookie blocker, right, like, that's the ideal state. But I will tell you that there are cookies, like specifically from Facebook. You don't actually have to have a Facebook account and they still can track you, right? So it's very hard to really evade those cookies, but it's not as much a cybersecurity concern.
I want to get in one more question, but before I do that, in the chat, they're saying, this is great information. Thank you so much, a wealth of knowledge. So here's a question for both of you all. outside of what has already been mentioned, what is one thing as a cybersecurity expert that you can share that you would never do or will always do that will protect you from being a victim of a cyber attack?
Veena, why don't you start?
Sure. No, I think this is a great question. Number one, you, right? You know your friends. You know what's real, and truly, you know what's fake. So use your knowledge that you have, and before you click anything, think before you click, and that's what I would say. It just takes one click anywhere through a QR code, through a phishing link. That link could be posted anywhere, or that link could be shared with 20 different people. It just takes one click. So think before you click and don't fall bait. Thank you, Gordon. Gordon?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, what is something that I would always do? I would say I personally don't have a Facebook account. I don't have a Twitter account. I try not to post anything on social media because everything that is available about me out there can be used against me. And so I really and I have children, so that's what I tell my children, right? Like, try to be careful with what you text people, right? Like what you email people, what you post on social media, because all of this is going to resurface at some point. And there are always bad guys out there that will use that information against you. So I'm very focused on making sure that my information out there is limited.
Thank you, Gordon and Veena, so very much. We have one final question before we go into our closing remarks and our evaluation. You had mentioned about a virtual private network. We all are in airports at one time or another, and it's almost automatic. You see everybody walking around with their devices, they're using them. So could you just mention a little bit more about these virtual private networks? Do they cost a lot of money? How do you get them? How does it set up? And then we'll go into closing.
Yes, so virtual private networks, right? Like basically when you join a public Wi-Fi, your device is basically exposed to everybody who is on that network, right? And they're exposed to your networks. And so the virtual private network basically creates, think about it like a tunnel, right, between your device and the internet. And that tunnel basically isolates all of your device and all the information that gets sent back and forth between your device and the internet from everybody else. Okay. That way, nobody can listen in what your device is sending, and nobody can try to attempt to hack your device while you're connected to that public network. Do they cost a lot? They're not super expensive. I think they're like, I don't know, the service that I use costs like $15 a month, right? Typically what that involves is you install a piece of software on your computer, on your tablet, or your phone. And then basically you can tell it like, hey, every time when I turn on Wi-Fi, just turn on the VPN, and it turns it on itself on automatically. You don't have to do anything. If you're looking for like a vendor recommendation, right, like NordVPN is very popular. That is probably the largest VPN provider out there. They're very reputable, and you know, they're easy to use.
Thank you both so very much. And on behalf of the president of the Houston Alumni Chapter, our emergency response team, and all of the participants that have joined either via Facebook or here on the webinar, we want to thank you both for a great presentation that was both very informative and actionable, some things that we can do now. You've provided us with some solid steps that we can take to make our cyberspaces more safe, as well as how to adequately respond in the event of a cyber emergency. So we want to thank you both very, very much. Before we close out, want to wish everyone a very happy holidays and to be safe. And as Veena had said, think before you click. Have a nice evening and thank you, everyone.